Do you know where in your life you find a flow state? A flow state is when we are totally absorbed in what we're doing, present, listening, available, and it's where we connect to our spirit. Now, the opposite of a flow state is languishing. That's when we're disconnected, feeling malaise, uninterested. Well, in this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 tools to find flow, to better connect with your spirit and jumpstart yourself if you feel stuck. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a 4th generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. And today we are talking about the flow state. What is it? How do we access it? How do I create more flow in my life? Well, I've got a secret for you. It's not that as difficult as we like to think. We think of flow states when you're reading a book and you're completely immersed, or maybe you're out in the garden and you just are loving pulling up the different roots and are just completely available. Things that mark a flow state, everything in you opens up. That chatter of your mind starts to quiet, and you actually connect not only with your intuition, but your guides, and you feel really good. Now, flow states aren't just reserved for musicians or people who are special. We can all access a flow state where we flow with the universe instead of fighting against it or trying to figure it out. Now, there are a few things that a flow state requires. And before I get into that, I just want to say, if you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. I release new videos every week. And speaking about being able to tap into a flow state and your intuition, at the end of May, I am offering my first group class all on intuitive development. So if that's something that's interesting you, definitely check out the links below and I'll let you know when it opens. But let's go back to being in the flow. So flow requires a few different elements. First of all, it requires some sort of mastery. That means something that we feel like we can get better at or make progress in. Second of all, it requires mindfulness, something where our attention is focused and zoned in. And third of all, it has to matter to us. That doesn't mean that it has to matter in the big grand scheme of things, but that it matters, that we feel like we're making a difference. This combination of these 3 factors creates a magic of where we get to flow. Now, when I'm talking about a flow state, the interesting thing is this is where our chatter of our mind quiets and where we access our intuition, we access deeper listening and actually start to just feel and are grounded in the present moment. Now, the first thing that I said, which I learned from a wonderful TED Talk, Adam, I will link it in the description, is he talks about mastery. Now, mastery, most importantly, means that you have to be doing something that you feel like you're getting better at, that you're improving upon. So, for example, cooking a meal can be a flow state because you start with something and then you end with a meal. You have something that you can tangibly feel. Or if you're gardening, you pull up all of those different weeds and all of a sudden you are feeling like you've accomplished something. So when we start to pay attention, one thing that I notice so much with my clients and in so many of my intuitive readings and my mentoring is oftentimes when we are in our intellect, it's really hard for us to notice the ways that we have succeeded or progressed. We often find that ego, critical ego intellect likes to use criticism as a way to motivate us, but in reality, it's not a good motivator. If you're trying to cook a beautiful meal and it never feels like it's good enough, or you're trying to garden and you can never feel like you can pull up all those weeds, guess what? You're gonna lose interest. It's not gonna feel good. So first step, mastery. Notice what it is that you're doing. Take account and take into your being how you have changed and improved, how things have shifted and changed. That will not only train your intellect to pay attention to your intuition, but will let you feel good when you engage in different activities. Second of all, ask yourself, what are the things that you lose yourself in? Is it a good book? Is it playing music? Is it cooking? Is it gardening? Is it singing along? It doesn't have to be complicated. And when we can start to pay attention to when we're in those flow states and what those conditions are, we can recreate create them in different areas of our life. Now, one reason why we get disconnected is we can get into a flow state when we're binging a Netflix show, easy to kind of zone out of our own reality, get out of our story, get out of our world into something else. Or if we're scrolling Instagram, doom scrolling Instagram, because it brings us out of our own being. But that same moment, the moment that we're done scrolling, not paying attention, we're not only out of that flow state, but we don't feel good about it. So the second thing that we really have to pay attention to is mindfulness. Now, our world is constantly vying for our attention. Your phones, your computers, your kids, your friends, everything. All of the notifications, all of these things in our time are constantly eating away at our attention, and our time becomes shredded, becomes all over the place. There was something that I saw where it was like people check their email up to 74 times a day. That does not allow for a flow state. If you are constantly checking in on your phone, checking in on doing other things, you can't drop into that place of what feels good, of that place of presence and attention and concentration. So if you're wanting to zone into your flow state, if you're wanting to find more flow, make sure that you have good boundaries around your time. How accessible are you? How much energy do you have? Is your phone on? Are you available for any sneeze, cough, whatever that shows up? Create time boundaries, that this is my dedicated time to dedicate to myself, to get in touch with my spirit, to get in touch with my intuition, and to find flow. These are the states where we connect to our intuitive guidance, where we open up to support, where we get solutions. What I find when I'm in a flow state, I flow when I cook, I flow when I sing, I flow when I'm dancing, I flow when I'm driving a car often, is that's when my intuitive guidance will drop in. Things that I've been wanting answers on will all of a sudden just boop, show up because I'm not thinking, I'm listening. And the third thing that really matters when we talk about a flow state is that it has to matter to you. It has to be something that you find is important and meaningful. So for example, if you're cooking a meal, that feels meaningful because you're connecting with your family or your friends or doing something that is creative. If you're finding what matters in even gardening, it's like you're beautifying a space. I had a client just the other week who really wanted to write a book, but she had 2 kids, she had a job, and she was like, Sonia, I don't have time. I don't have availability. Every time I get down to write, what happens is my kid want my attention, work is calling, and I can't actually find my creative juices. So we talked about this. First of all, look at what you've already written. Start to be proud of yourself and notice the chunks of time that you've already dedicated. Second of all, create those blocks of time. Tell your family, tell your husband that you need an hour, 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be a lot. But when we create and establish those boundaries, that means that this matters to us and it allows that part of ourselves that has to pay attention to the world to go quiet. And third of all, it matters. And she was saying, well, how does it matter? I said, well, caring for yourself by having this creative exercise, having this part of your own spirit that is shared, brings you happiness and joy. And that then brings more happiness and joy to your family. It matters. So when you're trying to find your own flow states, whether you're trying to flow with your intuition, find more flexibility with your spirit, trying to get guidance, or even just want to feel better in life, ask yourself, what are the things that I lose myself in? What are the things that really supercharge my heart space? And check in. And if you can't remember, think about what you like to do as a little kid and dedicate some time. Put away the phone, put away the computer, put away everything, and just give yourself permission to be immersed. Give yourself permission to find connection and joy in things that bring you joy. And even better, you can find flow states by inviting other people to flow with you, whether it's at a board game or a video game or learning a new song. These are all great ways that will not only strengthen your intuition, your listening state, but will give you access to more space and availability in your life. And that is where your spirit resides. That's where solutions reside. That's where your flexibility resides. It is all in the present moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, leave me a comment. And as always, if you want to connect with your soul, get clear on your gifts, book a reading with me. I also do one-on-one mentorings, and I'm gonna be offering an intuition workshop at the end of the month. So definitely pay attention to not only my website, but here. And I am sending you all my love. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Don't forget to share this with a friend. Find some flow together, like on a dance floor. It's one of my favorite places. Sending you all my love. Bye.